Welcome back, everybody, to the Tulsa Expo Center, the 37th Annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals, presented by General Tire. Qualifying night number 4 coming at us tonight. And this man right here, he wears the, he owns the tag public address announcer, but that would not even begin to cover the hats.
No doubt.
This gentleman wears, especially in this building for these 3 weeks. Bryan Hulbert, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. How are you doing today, my friend?
Oh, we're pleasantly tired.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, first question. 3 weeks out of your year annually, Matt Ward gets about 3 hours of sleep a night. How about you? I've traveled with you, and I see that you're – yeah, go. I don't even understand how
it's about the same. By the time I get done with, writing and stats and getting website and everything updated, easily maybe 3.5, 4 at the most.
Yeah, well, it's quite a bit of a workload for you, and I don't think you get enough appreciation for it, and so I'm grateful for it, and I know so many other folks are as well.
No, I appreciate it, but I've always been of the mindset that there's a job that needs to be done. We just need to get it done. I don't care who gets the praise for it. We just need to get the job done.
So,
Bryan, I don't think people really realize what you do. You take care of all the social media. You take care of the Facebook. You take care of the Twitter, Instagram, whatever you have to do, and you're doing it all at once. That's a pretty big task to do, isn't it?
I've gotten used to it. When I first started, I felt like I was in a whirlwind, but now if I'm not doing it, I'm getting bored. I've just got used to with
He's a go-bot.
With the announcing and updating the website, getting lineups in, getting the results in, getting that posted out to social media, and then running the blog on the front of the website so people can keep up with it there and making sure that things go into the app. It's anymore if I'm not doing it, I'm sitting there going, I'm forgetting something.
Yeah.
Right.
What is the biggest challenge of your job with the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour and the Chili Bowl here? There's so much going on here at the Chili Bowl, and there's so much going on out on the ASCS National Tour. Just what is the most difficult thing that you have to do?
Really, it's not even difficulty in doing anything. It's just making sure I get everything done. In the shootout in the Chili Bowl, there's so much going on, and the logistics of it are so insane that, there's a lot of times that I have to sit down at the end of the day and just write down what did I do today, just try to remember what I didn't do. Mm-hmm. In ASCS with the national and then all the regional tours, and plus with, Terry Maddox having the series now, that also encompasses Now 600, that encompasses United Rebel Sprint Series. OCRS I don't really do too much in. John, still has a lot to do with that part of it as far as the results and the recaps, so I don't really mess with it there. But, the notes, but I still announce all the race, so, make sure I have notes and everything for that. And then, just kind of anything else I can kind of pick up along the way.
And not only that, I think you've got another one in the oven, right?
Oh,
yep.
Man.
We're due in about 3.5, 4 weeks, something like that.
Wow,
so she's actually been out here selling programs, and big thanks to Matt and Donna and everybody. And Ashley, they had the thought of, since she's a band director here in Tulsa, she works at Tulsa Memorial, and then she works at Thoreau Middle School, of having them come in and sell the programs. That way they can actually benefit from it and get a donation off of that and help those students. And as an orc dork, not so much of a band geek, I was a classically trained violinist and violist for a lot of my life. Unfortunately, life has kind of gotten in the way. I haven't been able to play in a long time. But to still have music in my family and in my house and with what she does, it means a lot that that was their first thought, was to have her do that.
What is the biggest job outside of the racetrack, being a family man? What is your number one job?
Just making sure I, can pay the bills.
Right, right.
That's one of my biggest struggles, my biggest worries is that, and I think every parent goes through this, is can I provide enough? And, at times it's to the point where you're actually spoiling your kids because you're just you don't want them to go without.
Let me testify and say you don't have to be a parent to stress about those things.
Oh, this is true.
Right.
This is true. But I'm in that regard, I'm very fortunate for my wife in that she went on the road early on in our relationship, and she got to see everything that I do and that we were doing.
Right.
You know, because, you know, that's when you were still on the road with us, and, you know, we had the Scott and Scotty show, and, you know, she got to see firsthand the
it's
hours.
Not really a glamorous life.
It's not,
is it?
and, you know, it's one of those where she finally got to see it, and it was, hey, you know, it's work. We're not on vacation out here. Like, it is actual, you know, round-the-clock work.
Right.
I guarantee you it's not as glamorous as numerous ex-girlfriends in the past have believed it was.
Right.
That is for sure.
They think all you do is just chase around women all over the country.
Well, maybe,
No, and it's
maybe 30 years ago.
Maybe.
But, well,
30 minutes ago? What, Scotty?
No, now, come on. You know better. Both of you have traveled with me enough in the last 10 years to know that once we leave the racetrack.
The vampire that is Scotty Cook, because by the time I'm getting ready that we need to check out, that's when he's actually gone to bed.
Well, I know that.
Yeah.
I've had to deal with that
so
a lot of years.
We're on the micro sprint week with Now 600 this year. We're up in Nebraska, and then we drop down to Kansas. And we drive overnight because I can't find anything that's not just ridiculous. And we happen to find the you know, America's Best Value there in Belleville. So we get there, and we're 10 minutes from checking out, and this guy's screaming at us because we haven't checked out yet. And I'm going, dude, like, you know, if you quit screaming at me, I'll get my stuff and leave.
Right.
In the meantime, I've barely gotten him awake. He's in the shower. It's probably the most confused and almost angry I've ever seen Scotty Cook in my life, because he's maybe had an hour of sleep at this point.
Oh, my God.
And we finally get out. We decide to go get something to eat. They're not serving breakfast anymore, so at this point, we're both just frustrated.
Right.
We get to the track. I park under the stands, and he goes, hey, bud, think you can just leave it running?
90 degrees.
Yeah, it's like, you know, 95 degrees with just as much humidity. I just see the seat going back the whole time he's saying it. He's like, hey, just leave her running, bud. I just parked her in the shade. And then it was about 30 minutes later. He'd probably just gotten to sleep. The coolant hose on Terry's motorhome blows up.
Oh, no.
So we have to run out, figure out which one it is, and it's going to the Aqua Hot. So I get under there, turn off the valve, dump every gallon of water or antifreeze we can find in this thing, get it to the track, and I'm crawling under it for the next hour, digging hose and splicing and getting it put back together just so he can get back down the drum right. Mm-hmm. And we get back, and this guy said, all right, you're going to go back to sleep. So he just meandered off.
Oh, boy. Well, there's a little bit behind the scenes. We've all traveled a lot together, and
I've got some stories that I could share.
Oh, a bazillion.
Oh, the one where I thought we were all going down, we're in Montana. Mm. We're up in Billings, and they had a microburst come through. And if you've never –
that was a crazy one.
Yeah, if you've never been in a microburst, it's like tornado-force winds and rain without the tornado.
The three of us about got blown back to Kansas together.
Yeah, we're in the press box, and this thing goes from swaying with the breeze to just it just starts shaking, like violently shaking. And I'm going, well, that's usually a sign that things are about to get bad.
Yeah. And I remember we're all just hanging on, looking at each other like, are we going to go?
I'm like, well,
are we going to make it through this?
No, we
alive?
start joking around going, boys, we might as well just click on the broadcast and just let everybody see us going out in style.
Yeah. And I think we did do that a little bit.
Yeah, so we get done.
Forbid.
That was like right when Facebook Live came out. So we were up there Facebook Live in this. It gets done. I look down. There's a 55-gallon steel trash can stuffed up into the side of my car. One of the trailers, the door had broken off the back of it. I think it was Kelly Miller's.
Jason Johnson was parked underneath of us, and he had that new motorhome and a 50-gallon trash barrel blasted into it. He was right underneath of us.
So I had to like push my door back out.
Oh gosh.
Kelly Miller, they get caught in it. We all end up in the parking lot. I won't say it was at a Lowe's parking lot afterwards.
Yeah.
And it just got crazier from there.
Well, folks, we honestly, we don't even have enough. We could sit here for 3 hours and hubbub about stories and experiences
going up and down the road.
On the road, and we've seen it, and we've done it, and we've had a really good time along the way doing it. You are watching, hold that thought, Chili Bowl Check-In, brought to you by the fine folks of Morton Excavating. A very, very special thank you to the Morton family, and today's program brought to you by Same Day Auto and Tire Pros. 5 locations to serve you in the Tulsa area. Danny Smith, we love you so much. I have something to comment about. You were going to say one thing first.
No, I was just going to go into last night's action, and Last night we saw one of the most scariest things that we've ever seen in motorsports. A driver came out of a car. Do you have any updates?
So
Bryan?
we actually posted a statement earlier. We had a chance to talk with the driver's father, Danny, and get an update on everything that's going on. And it's actually posted to our social media and to chilibowl.com, but I can go ahead and let you know what we said. He is being held for observation at St. Francis Hospital here in Tulsa after his accident last night. He was alert, he's awake, he passed multiple cognitive tests, and according to his father, had no broken bones. They did post an update to the family's racing Facebook page this morning, and it said, and I quote, "Ashton is sore but has been resting. The CT scan came back with some blood on the brain, so they continue to monitor. Doctors are amazed that he is doing so well. The support from everyone has been amazing. We will update again tonight." So everything continues to be positive.
News, isn't it?
In fact, Rico went up there and gave him his trophy.
Oh, how about that?
So Peterson Media, who is another outlet on Twitter you can follow, that is actually his publicist.
I will say, guys, that
he posted that picture.
Unfortunately, about 20 years ago in Oskaloosa, Iowa, I witnessed absolutely the worst thing I've ever
Keith
seen
Hutton.
in motorsports. Yes, indeed. And anyone who knows what happened, how it happened. We don't need to go into details. But I recall at that moment two things. A, thinking, I pray that I never, ever, ever see anything like that again. And B, what unfolded after that was one of the most bizarre, unreal, obviously the air goes right out, the energy, everything flips on a dime, and everything just gets serious. So I liken that to last night. I hope I'd never experience either one of those situations again. And last night when everything unfolded, all I know is, A, I experienced that aura again. The building, every breath of air in this building absolutely left, and everything got very, very serious. And what ensued was what I witnessed that night 20 years ago. After we tended to him and after we got him loaded and out of the building, to walk through the infield where we pitted all of the cars and the drivers.
Open red.
To walk, well, first of all, we all went to turn 2 with the drivers and said a prayer with Pastor Jim Shepard. Then everyone retreated to their cars. And what ensued from there was the most bizarre experience, like aura, I've felt at a dirt track, even more so since that night 20 years ago. Every single one of those drivers were shocked, emotional. They didn't know, like everyone else in the building, it's just digesting what you saw.
Right.
I consoled, no less, especially 4 drivers, unnamed, that were emotional and that they weren't really for sure whether they wanted to get back in their car or not. So with that, all I can say on the heels of that is, A, the good Lord was looking after the boy.
No doubt.
B, if we had been maybe, and Bryan, you can follow up on it as well, if we had been maybe anywhere else in the country than in this building where we've got the best EMTs, the best track officials, and he was in the absolute best care that he could have been, and that he's 16 years of age and young and healthy,
so
it would have been a different.
So to add to that, the rest of the statement actually reads, Danny Torgerson said on Thursday morning, the whole racing community has been amazing. It means a lot. I think the most important thing is the responders and the officials of the Chili Bowl. If they weren't as good as they were, that literally could have been the difference between a life and death situation.
No, I agree with that. The only thing I can equate it to is the day that we learned that Donnie Ray Crawford, his passing. If you remember that day, the energy was sucked out of the building that
The only
day.
difference was that happened early in the a.m., 2 days, maybe even 1 day after his prelim qualifying night win.
Right.
He had just won a prelim qualifying night, And that occurred, and I do recall, were you around then? Yeah. I do recall walking in this building.
That was the first year after I called the broadcast for RacinBoys.
Wow, in Las Cruces. Walking into this building in the AM, well, I probably didn't walk in here AM, more than likely.
Right. More like PM.
Well, I mean, just walking into this building, anyone who's ever been here for the Chili Bowl Nationals, it's a very neat vibe, aura, upbeat. You hear wrenches ratcheting, and you hear clinking of wrenches, and it's just bustle all the way, and it ramps up throughout the week. To walk into this building that day, it was just like you're in church, man.
It was.
No one could grasp a hold what had actually happened. I mean, we had heard what had happened, but what?
We couldn't get our heads around it.
This is what you see on Dateline TV, you
right.
know?
Yeah.
We could not understand, and R.I.P., God bless Donnie Ray Crawford. Ashton Torgerson, you have a million people in your heart.
No doubt.
And praying for you. And I just want to reiterate what he just said on behalf of Mr. Torgerson, that beyond the drivers being in a complete daze and not knowing that they wanted to go forward, what I saw with my peers and my friends rallying with the snap of a finger no sooner than that kid hit the ground was no less than amazing. I mean, not every one of the people, I mean, everyone formed a circle so that spectators couldn't see what was going on. But there were about 5 guys on the ground, on their bellies, as if that was their own family member, making sure that kid was in the best care. And it was, I just kind of get emotional thinking about it right now. It was one of the most unbelievable things I've seen.
I agree.
And all I can say is, kid, we're thinking about you. God was looking over you last night, and we love you.
And let me throw in one other thing. If there are people out there that are sharing that on social media,
I was going to say that.
Take it down. Nobody wants to see that.
Uncouth.
That is totally unacceptable, and nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see somebody get injured.
Everyone lived through the trauma of it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really need to be relived. All we know is that we're, by the grace of God, so very blessed that this young man is still with us today. And we'll move on to brighter subjects. But thank you to the entire staff,
no
Billy
doubt.
Hurt, the EMTs, all the officials, Ron.
Tim, he did a great job with the drivers going around and doing a little prayer with each one of them.
Jim Shepard.
Jim
Coordinated the prayer with the drivers, and down there, and then he made his rounds to everyone, making sure everyone was okay.
Let's pick it up a little bit. How about that race, though?
Yeah, it's amazing that it played second fiddle.
They were all down on the bottom, and they had that caution with 6 to go. Rico said, he goes, I just had to go where they weren't, and he ran the top immediately different than anybody else. He was driving across it. He wasn't just following it, and just picked up momentum. They came around to the white, and all I could think was they're going to have to crash him to stop him.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing drive.
Rico has the ability of being able to take speed away from other cars, doesn't he? He knows how to be able to cross them over, take the speed away from other cars, and that's what he's really good at.
Oh, he can read a race, and he can read a track just so well. He'll find places to go where nobody else thought of, and that's what makes him great in this building. That's why he's a 2-time champion, and possibly on the cusp of being a 3-time champion.
How many times has he won a prelim night? Do you know that?
8.
8 times.
He's tied now with Swindell and Bell.
Mm.
And I honestly didn't know how to coordinate that post race last night with the aura and the mood, and after it unfolded, I don't know that I would have wanted to be talking to. Not knowing how I was going to approach that, I don't know that I would have wanted to talk to anyone else, because it was almost like he held my hand because he could sense that I really wasn't sure what direction, obviously.
The good thing about Rico is he's a consummate professional, not only as a driver, but, just as a person in general.
An ambassador.
Oh, he is. He is the person that everybody's dog thinks they are.
Right.
You know, he's that good of and genuine of a person. It's not an act. It's not him being, you know, the PR side. That's Rico. You know, he's just a genuine person.
And Rico backed by Kyle Busch and Rowdy Energy Drink, and Ashton Torgerson is on the Rowdy Energy Drink team as well. So kind of like a teammate to him, and we're going to get shuttled out of here pretty quick. Hey, but at least we're with the guy that should be shooing people out.
Hey, you need to leave.
Right. We got stuck around a little bit long yesterday. One thing we don't want to do is walk out of bounds with anyone here, and we're just gracious for all the staff. You would not believe the amount of staff, door workers, infield workers,
the quantity of employees.
Tell us, fill us in on that.
I've never counted. It's incredible. The amount of people behind the scenes on this event is just absolutely astounding.
Yeah. So to take you through last night, and we apologize on Rico's behalf, but he would sit here and talk about what we talked about the whole time rather than what happened last night, and that's kind of what I was getting at with the post-race interview.
Yeah,
because
in fact, Kirk Elliott last night went to interview him, and he did not want to even talk about that accident.
He didn't, because when we talked about when he knew that was priority to talk about post-race other than what just happened, he, like everyone else, he was very, very emotional, and just kudos to him for just soldiering through what we had to do, what we needed to do. But on the bright side of that, what Rico started fourth.
Man, off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you.
What? Huh? Sixth. That's right. Thank you, Kirk.
Kirk knows.
Yeah. He got cracked the top three pretty early, and he just stayed in there, and he just kind of searched around. Boy, lap 25, he hit the top. He never abandoned the top. And then he pulled a Rico move off of turn number 2 on the white flag lap. When he had the edge, when he had the position and the momentum, he'd been railing the top for 4.5 laps. He went straight to the bottom in 3 and 4 to protect what he had just earned. And, again, just tied Sammy Swindell and Christopher Bell for the all-time preliminary wins last night. And that was the first question we asked him. He wasn't even worried about that right now, you know. So Rico,
that was the last thing on his mind.
Rico is one of the most solid human beings. It doesn't matter race car driver or not. One of the most amazing human beings, and filled with so much love for his fellow human being that's why everybody loves him. That's why he's a hell of a man.
Wayne's in trouble.
Huh? Wayne who? What?
Which Wayne do you think I'm talking about? The one and only, the 2C.
Oh,
Ash is yelling at him.
That guy, Wayne Johnson.
He's in trouble again.
Imagine that. Oh my gosh, I wish you guys would have seen the.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the.
They're trying to run people out of here right now.
That reminds me of the back and forth at the banquet.
Oh my God! So
that was for.
Well, gentlemen, it's race day.
Yes, it is. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
For sure. And you're watching Chili Bowl Check-In, Morton Excavating Chili Bowl Check-In, and a very special thanks to the Morton family. Today's program brought to you by Danny Smith and the fine folks of Tire Pros and Same Day Auto. This is Bryan Hulbert. That's Scott Traylor. We're going to cut away for just one moment and let you hear a word from the fine folks of Tire Pros and Same Day Auto, and we'll be right back with segment number 2 for Chili Bowl Check-In here at the Tulsa Expo Center. Welcome back to the Tulsa Expo Center, the 37th Annual Chili Bowl Nationals. And this young man that decided to sit in and join us for a moment is taking this all in and participating for the first time. Scott and I, we've mentioned we've traveled 1 million miles over, but some of our favorite travels for the years on end have been to the beautiful Pacific Northwest, and we met some wonderful, wonderful folks from that area. This young man being one of them. Devon Bordon, thanks for sitting in with us, buddy.
Yeah,
welcome.
no, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, welcome to the Chili Bowl Nationals, the Tulsa Expo Center. Very overwhelming, a lot to take in when you walk into this building for the first time, let alone being a competitor. How's your experience been thus far?
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, this place, like, you just walk into it and I don't know, it almost just gives you the goosebumps. Like, this place is really, really cool.
Right.
Yeah, I'm just super excited to be here. I mean, something I've watched on TV for the past 10 years at least. Like, it's always been something I've wanted to do, and finally got the opportunity to do it. So I'm just happy to be here.
And it turned out really good for you in your first heat race. You won that heat race too, and that was pretty exciting for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, it was really cool. Yeah, I feel like I adapted pretty quick to it. I mean, these things definitely drive a lot different than a wing sprint car, but you know, I feel like, you know, got the hang of it pretty quick. So, you know, we had really good speed.
The difference is between driving a sprint car, a wing sprint car, and a midget. You work off the right rear off the midget, and
exactly.
You want to work off your left rear in the sprint car, right?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the wing just really holds you. You know, like these things more slide. You know, you got to be careful not to overdrive them because
it's the concept of a left side panel on a wing being taller to plant it on the left rear.
That's it. Yep.
For sure. Man, it's been an amazing road for you. It's been what? When did we meet Devon? About 4 years ago?
Well, he started out on the Lucas Oil ASCS National
That's where I was
Tour,
going.
And then we went out to the north. We went out to Pennsylvania, and you never came back.
I never. What with ASCS?
Yeah.
No, I was there.
No, did you finish out the year with us?
Oh.
Remember?
Yeah, no, I did not. Yeah, we went to Pennsylvania.
You went to
and
Pennsylvania and
never
you
came
stayed
back.
there.
Yeah, stayed there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't
Just
a bad
kinda
thing because it was a blessing. One, it threw you into 410. Two, racing and competition in Pennsylvania is unparalleled and the most quality seat time experience that you'll have as a young driver as yourself. And it was a blessing for you because not only did you go out there, you went out there and started competing right off the bat. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, it's just crazy, you know, like I felt like I was just kind of a nobody, just a guy. Me and my dad were out there trying to make it happen, and that was about it.
It's a different scene, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, and just had some really good people that were behind me, Donat being one of them, the main guy. You know, he said, hey, come on back. You know, I got a couple 410s here. We'll throw a 410 in the car, and went out there and performed pretty well. I guess good enough to
earn the ride.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was good enough for him to say, "Hey, stay back for a few more weeks," you know.
Right.
And I'll wrench the car, do what I can to help, throw a 410 in the car. Well, we did that, and next thing you know, it was pretty good. I actually got a few phone calls to drive a couple different cars, but was just kind of waiting for the right opportunity, and went home to graduate high school. And during that time, got a phone call from Mike Hefner to come drive his car.
The 27 car?
Yeah, the 27 car. And got that opportunity, and it was crazy. You know, it felt like for the first time, I kind of, I don't want to say made it, but, you know, kind of got my big shot to really try to make it happen. And, you know, I feel like we ran pretty good. And, you know, I just super blessed to have that opportunity.
Now you're in the 23 car, right?
Yeah, I'm racing.
Tell us about how that all come together.
Yeah, I'm racing for Shuttlesworth Stamen Racing now. You know, it was a great opportunity that I couldn't pass up. And, you know, I think we're going to have a lot of success, and I'm really excited for our future together.
Talk about this year's Chili Bowl. You're part of the Matt Wood Racing camp, and no doubt about it, those are quality seats, and you have to feel blessed to be in your ride. How did that evolve? We all know Matt from the great state of California on the north side is known and loved by many, let alone out there, but all over motorsports. How did you and Matt get merged?
Well, you know, obviously I've been wanting to get in a Chili Bowl car and a midget, so I reached out to him to see if they had anything available, and they did. And you know, next thing you know, Matt, you know, kind of got the opportunity to be in it, and that's really it. Really, I just can't thank Matt and Shane Golobic and CarQuest enough for making it all happen. It's been a really fun experience.
So you made it into the A main on your qualifying night.
Yeah, yep.
But it didn't turn out so good for you, did it?
It did not, no.
Yeah. Tell us what happened there.
Well, so we were starting in 10th. Kind of just had the mindset to just try not to be too aggressive, but
it's hard to talk yourself down sometimes.
Yeah, try to talk yourself down, but kind of a couple cars got collected in front of us, and I was committed to the top, kind of had nowhere to go, got stopped on the track, had to go to the back, and next thing you know, kind of got fed a wheel and ended up on our lid. So.
Hang on.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
how much damage was to the car?
It did bow the frame a little bit up in the cage, but outside of that, it's pretty much just the front end header, couple small bolt-on pieces. So we got it fixed, and we'll be ready for the E-main on Saturday.
Yeah.
Last night, one of your peers and friends that you grew up racing with encountered one of the most horrifying accidents that any of us have ever seen.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you didn't feel, well, you felt the same as all the family members because you grew up racing with him, and he's a very dear friend. How are you today?
I'm feeling better now that I know that he's going to be all right.
Right.
When I watched it all, oh my gosh, I was shaking. I was terrified. Like, I've never seen anything like that. Like, just absolutely crazy. And yeah, there was a minute that I wasn't sure if he was going to be okay. So it was absolutely terrifying.
It was kind of touch and go.
It really, the whole thing, just to even think about it, almost 12 hours, 14, 16 hours later, it's kind of at a loss for words for what all of us saw.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's just
nobody's ever seen
anything
anything like that, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I don't care whatever you guys pray to, just give praise to it today for that
absolutely.
young man.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's just it's a gift of whatever looks over all of us.
That's
that
a
he's
miracle.
With us. Indeed.
Yeah, no doubt.
So,
absolute miracle.
Well, what's up your sleeve for 23? It's amazing to me about you is that you're at such a young age and you're so traveled with quality seat time all over the country, and things are just looking up for you.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm in a good spot in my career. I'm just trying to go out and win a lot of races. I got a lot of great people surrounded by me, and that's really key to this, to be successful. So, yeah, obviously I'm going to be with the Shuttlesworth-Stamen guys again in 23, and with the mindset of going out and freaking getting it done. We're going to pretty much be running mainly Pennsylvania.
Cool.
We're
going to run for points anywhere?
Probably Williams Grove and Port Royal for points. We'll probably get out we'll be out at the Eldora Million, possibly Knoxville Nationals, but mainly everything in Pennsylvania and around Pennsylvania. So, yeah, I'm just super excited. I'm going to go make it happen.
Port Royal is one of the coolest tracks in the country, isn't it?
It is, yes.
It's on my bucket list still.
Haven't been to Port Royal.
I mean, I've been everywhere, but I have not seen Port Royal yet.
I'm going out there for PA Speed Week this year.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to
go. Your old buddy off to the side there.
Yeah.
Your old PNW buddy there. Dear friend of mine. I hurt his feelings the other day, and I accidentally messed up his cornhole boards. So, Paul Nelson, I love you. I apologize. And on that note, he is a friend of yours.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is a representative of Kango Water,
yes,
which helps you sit up in the seat a little bit more. I heard you did a little briefing on that the other day.
Yeah, I've definitely learned a lot about it. It's pretty crazy how bad normal bottled water and
the difference between it.
The difference between it and how much more hydrated it can make you and how much better it is for you. So, yeah, I've been drinking it all week, and it's definitely not hurting me. So
be sure to have the quilted Charmin and be nearby the stool.
Right.
It's meant to clean you out.
It cleaned me out the first time I drank it.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, it's good. So, yeah, got to thank Paul for hooking me up with all of it.
Yeah, for sure. Scott, any other things?
I guess that's the plan, is just to try to run for the points out there.
Yep.
And are you going to try to run any of the high limit races?
Yeah, we'll be at the ones. We'll be at Lernerville. I think it's $50,000 to win there.
Yeah.
Bridgeport, Grandview, and you never know what else. So
Yeah.
but those 3 for sure. So
We were wanting to have Rico is just about to the building, and I'm going to ask you guys while we're rolling with it if we're okay to add him to this segment, or we want to put him on a.
Yep,
on
there
a,
he
do
is
you
right
see him?
there.
Good
Yep.
deal. So with that, we want to tell you thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having
today.
me on.
And you know, there has really been a youth movement in open wheel, let alone midget racing, but predominantly midget racing. But it's cool to see you being a part of that youth movement. And unbelievable, you were a little punk about 4 years ago, and you're still a punk, but you're growing up. You're a young man now.
Yeah. He's going to be a somebody to keep an eye on out there in the out in the East, because he is a gasser, and you stand on it, bud. That's
Scott,
one thing.
right
One
to.
thing about you that we can always count on you, that you're not afraid to get on that gas.
You know,
No, I'm not
four
afraid of
years
that.
removed, if anything, you made an impression on that guy, because he so often talks about you and your father. Great people, man, and we just want to wish you the best. Thanks for joining us this
I
morning.
appreciate you guys a lot.
All right, the hometown up there in Washington.
Raymond,
Washington. Washington's Devon
Small
Bordon.
little logging town.
You're proud of your old buddy J.J. Hickle?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's really making it happen too. It's
Man,
really awesome.
he's a good old boy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, this is Devon Bordon, Scott Traylor. I'm Scotty Cook, and we appreciate Devon stepping in with us. You are watching Morton Excavating Chili Bowl Check-In. Today brought to you by the fine folks of Same Day Auto and Tire Pros. We're going to step away, hear a word from those folks, and we'll be right back with last night's winner, Rico Abreu. Welcome back to the Tulsa Expo Center. Rolling through the program. So glad you guys are joining us and hopefully enjoying what we're bringing to you. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff and some in-depth interviews and thoughts and words from some drivers in this building. And everyone recognizes this driver, and no doubt about it, everyone in this building absolutely loves this driver. St. Helena, California's Rico Abreu. We're glad to have you, buddy. We appreciate you coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I always look forward to doing this stuff with you guys every year.
You know,
man, great run last night, man. That you just those last 5 laps were amazing.
Yeah, that was a special one. You know, and one for the history books here at the Chili Bowl. You know, one for a notch off my win list here for the building. You know, just the Chili Bowl Nationals. So. You know, this is a special place to me. So, you know, to able to get my work towards getting my 3rd Chili Bowl Nationals and my 8th prelim, I'm ready to go.
And that puts you in some pretty good
rare
category.
air.
Yeah, because you're in there with some pretty good names when it comes to winning 8 prelim nights.
Yeah, just shows how competitive Keith Kunz Motorsports is, consistently year after year bringing solid race cars to the Expo Center here. So,
you know, earlier in this program, I made mention that with what occurred during the A main last night, and we've already spoken about it and gone in depth about it as much as we can. I made mention that honestly, during the post race, knowing full well that what was occurring at that point was very much secondary to what was main focal
the grand
point.
scheme of things.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I'm now that I've thought about it, I honestly, going into that post race, I really did not know how to tackle it. I mean, like you, we were both kind of very emotional, and we knew that it needed to be done, but it wasn't on the forefront of our minds. I want to thank you. It was like, I feel like I don't know that I would have wanted to been talking to anyone else other than you, because it was almost like you held my hand and walked me through that whole deal, and it was quite an experience last night.
yeah, and I felt the same way on your behalf. So, You know, I think in those moments it's just important that we all recognize the situation. You know, the energy shifted in the building, and we all sensed that very quickly. You know, to get the win, you know, that was exciting how it was done on the last lap, and you know, with knowing that you know, Ashton was in a good position leaving the building, that he was responsive and communicating with you know, the EMTs. So you know, that kind of shifted the energy back, you know, with a good finish like that. So it was pretty cool. I got to go see him today and talk to him a little bit. Him and his father.
How's he
hanging
doing
out there. He was in good spirits. His father is you know, keeping him in good spirits. We're all keeping him in good spirits.
Bryan Hulbert just told us you gave him your trophy.
Gave him my trophy from winning last night, and I was, you know, that was, you know, I felt like he was the real winner at the end of the day.
Yeah,
I say your dad raised one hell of a man, brother.
Yeah, just lucky to be here.
I know you are. Talk about, you know, one of the coolest things about Rico Abreu in this building, which there are a lot of cool things about you being in this building every year, but the coolest thing to me always is your interaction with Turn 2 top row rowdies. And it's so funny, I've mentioned before, and we mentioned last night in the post-race, that the same amount of love that your fans give you, you absolutely reciprocate it. And it shines every time you go over there to see those people. Tell us about that, man. It's so cool.
That's a rowdy group. I like to get a little rowdy sometimes.
We know you do.
Pump those guys up, put on good racing for them. I mean, that's you know, I think they need some love. The front stretch, and everybody's got the best seats. The back stretch, you can't really see into turn 3, so you know, you got to make some stuff happen in 1 and 2 for them.
It's so funny to think. Go ahead, Scott.
How much difference does it make not seeing the screen down in turn 1 when you go into 1?
It never really bothered me. I just really tried to be simple-minded and didn't get distracted.
Never
by
paid much attention to it.
Under caution, I would try to glance up there just to see where we at on lap count and stuff.
You know, Scott, 9 out of 10 drivers say they did pay attention to it.
Yeah, I really didn't care to look at it.
I honestly think it's harder to. You can't really look at it now because you're looking too far over.
It distracts you a little bit, doesn't it?
You can't see it at all now.
Yeah.
So,
No.
you know,
that's probably why they moved it.
Yeah, they might move it back next year to get.
Right. Or they might put it over. Yeah. You know, one thing that stuck out to me last night when we were taking the golf cart ride up to the press room, you were having a word with your peers and the fellow podium finishers about how you're pedaling the car. It takes a very unique way to get around these tight quarters, and you don't get but a very instant of a second to mash the gas here.
Yeah, I mean, your 10-second lap times, you know, and then when the pace slows down, you're in the 13 and 14. So, you know, I think a lot of the part of racing to get up front here is being very patient, and then when you're in position, to just minimize your mistakes. And wheel spin is a big thing here with how slick the straightaways get, and you got to, you know, just be really finesse around the cushion.
You have the ability to be able to take the speed away from other cars out on the racetrack. Talk about that a little bit, because you're very unique in that situation right there.
Yeah, I think there's times to get everything out of the car when you need to, like last night when the 2 first and second place cars went to the bottom, and I knew I wasn't going to run third running around the bottom here. So I really
Nor do you ever.
Nothing to lose by going up top, and just really committed. And, you know, my car was set up perfectly to be up there.
Yeah. There was a lot of cars trying to run it down there, and a few of them were biking up down there in turns 1 and 2. Was the track a little treacherous down in 1 and 2, a little bit more than maybe 3 and 4 last night?
I think that's what makes the racing exciting. You know, the last 2 nights they've nailed it, the track conditions, and you know, I feel like they got this place right where it needs to be, and they let it build up on the wall like that, and it's not a firm curve, but it's more of like a fluff packed against concrete. So that's what, you know, as the pace slows down and the moisture strips go away, it makes it really technical to run up there, and that's when you see guys starting to move around from the top to the bottom.
Right. I viewed your trip to the front from 6 last night very tactical. not very aggressive off the bat, just kind of laid in the weeds back through there. Then you crack the top 3, still kind of laid in the weeds, feeling things out here, feeling things out there. The last 4.5 laps, you took to the top, and you absolutely started ripping it. The coolest move of the night, though, is when you had the advantage off of turn 2 and you got him cleared and you went straight to the bottom to protect in the final lap in 3 and 4.
Yeah, just I really wanted to try to break his momentum and, you know, and block that slide job or the dive bomb if he was trying to do it. And I had enough speed to kind of keep it up through the center of the corner and just grab that last strip of moisture on the top of exiting just up high. And, you know, if I would have went all the way around and got tight in the center, he would have won. And I felt like he missed the bottom a little bit too, which gave me the advantage off of turn 4.
Hey, did you see? Go ahead.
I just want to bring it up. I just got a golden doodle.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, just got it.
You got one.
It's 5 months old.
You're going to have your hands full.
They're kind of crazy, aren't they?
Yeah, they're wild.
My dog, it comes up and it I don't know if your dog does this, but it jumps up and pushes its paws up against you.
Gus does the same thing.
It's nuts, man.
Yeah.
I love my little golden doodle.
Yeah, Gus has changed my life. He's brought a lot of positivity into it. No matter my days are good or bad, he's always excited to see me, and it makes you feel really good.
I miss mine already.
Yeah.
I've been gone for a few days.
Talk about one Miss Megan that is in your life, and man, you're a pretty blessed man, let alone to have a bazillion fans, but you have an outstanding, awesome woman by your side that supports your every step.
I do, and I'm very thankful for her, you know, and what we've built in the last 10 years here in the racing industry with my brand, my race team, having a dog now full-time with us everywhere we go. You know, it's really changed us in the way we go about our relationship now in communication, and you know, it's made it better for us, and I feel like that was the next step we needed, and you know, I wouldn't be able to do it without her.
I can't believe you haven't put a ring on it yet, bro.
I know. I better get to getting.
Is there some pressure there?
Every day is
probably.
pressure.
Well, honestly, knowing Megan, she's pretty laid back, and I don't know that she pressures you about too terribly much, right?
She's doing all right.
Yeah. Hey, outside of this atmosphere in the pits, whether it's in this building or any other dirt track in the country, outside of that, to view Rico Abreu's social media and to see the life you live on edge, kind of like the modern day Johnny Knoxville.
You're really blessed, buddy.
It's so entertaining to me, and I know I'm not the only one entertained by it. Talk about how you live life by the seat of your ass, man. It's so cool to see.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to have fun, and I want people to be able to enjoy the fun with me, and when I'm around people, I want them to, you know, go home that day saying how much fun they had. So that's, you know, that's kind of my motto.
Yeah, no doubt about it. How many of the high limit races you can run this year? Do you know?
I'm gonna try to get to majority of them. I just gotta make sure it all fits in my schedule.
Yeah,
cool.
So, are you just gonna kind of run an outlaw schedule this year?
Yeah, just
it's what you did last year.
Wherever the races pay the best, I'm gonna be there.
You have an absolute legion of fans. There aren't. I don't think there's another driver in all of open wheel racing with as many hardcore, loyal fans that they are to you. I'd like to hear if you had an opportunity to say from your heart whatever you may to all the people that absolutely love you.
I'm just thankful. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Thankful for the fan base that we've built. Thankful for people believing in me, and I truly look forward to seeing the fans at the racetrack.
Yep.
For sure you do.
Talk about your business, man. You've really grown your merchandise business.
He's a marketing genius, Scott.
You are a marketing genius. Just talk about how that has all come together for you.
You know, I work really hard at it because it's my living and my livelihood, and it's you know, people give me a hard time, but it's they don't pay my bills, and I have to focus on you know, those things and being able to you know, just keep pushing all that stuff out there to have the best stuff all the time.
Let me tell you what a marketing genius he is. I saw a shoprico.com sticker in the men's latrine.
Right.
You put them all over, didn't you?
You got them all over the floor around
Everybody
here.
needs to see it.
Great, man.
Did you get them in the ladies' room?
I
Did
don't
Megan
think we made it that far.
No, well, I went in there yesterday. I was like, oh, wow, this boy is a marketing genius. Well, hey, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Appreciate you, buddy.
We love you. We respect you. And we want to wish you the best of luck come Saturday.
No
I know
doubt.
you got a little room on your mantle for yet another little golden driller.
Absolutely.
All right. That is St. Helena, California's Rico Abreu. He got into the record books last night, and he's got more work to do Saturday. You're watching Morton Excavating. Chili Bowl check-in today brought to you by the fine folks of Same Day Auto and Tire Pros. Thanks, Scott Traylor, for hanging out with me, and we hope you guys are enjoying all the stuff we're putting up on RacinBoys and the Chili Bowl page. And with that, we'll cut out of here and call it a day, and we'll be back with you for another edition of Chili Bowl Check-In. Thank you, guys.